Hey, welcome to the Arts Alive podcast. My name is Bill DeYoung, and we're here today via Zoom with the fabulous Mindi Abair, who is appearing tonight with her Christmas show at the Capitol Theater in Clearwater. Lots to talk about. Hey there, how are you?
I'm doing great. Just getting ready for the show. And you know what? It just feels good to be in my hometown, kind of finishing up our Christmas tour. It feels really good.
I think one thing that I do want to explore a little bit in a minute is the fact that you are from here, and maybe a lot of people don't know that. So we're gonna go dip our toe into those waters. But
Oh yeah.
before we start, I want to quote from Wikipedia because I'm lazy and they said it better than I could, which is speaking about Mindy Abair. Her solo career has produced 10 number one radio singles, two number one Billboard jazz CDs and four more solo CDs that have landed at number five and above on the Billboard Contemporary Jazz charts. Abair's recordings have twice been nominated for Grammy Awards. Mindy Abair is a saxophone player. We're talking
Yeah.
soprano, alto, tenor, and even baritone sax, which I can't
Yeah.
even lift. So,
Oh, you can.
I don't, I've never tried, but I've seen them. They're almost as big as I am.
They're worth it. They're totally worth it.
So listen, the obvious question, really the only thing I wrote down was to start here in rock and roll parlance, which is a little crude, but I'm gonna say it anyway. There aren't a lot of hot-looking chicks playing saxophone, and which is to say, in normal non-sexist parlance, I don't know a lot of women saxophone players.
Yeah.
You're not the only one, but who else is out there that we should know about?
No, I'm not the only one. And it's interesting you say that because look, I started school band in fourth grade and no one told me that it was odd for a girl to play a sax until it was, too late. I already really loved it. And I thank them for that because, since I started playing saxophone, people would come up to me and they'd say, my mother wouldn't let me play saxophone. She said it would give her buck teeth. It's not a girl instrument. You need to play, the clarinet or the piano.
Yeah.
So I love that the people around me just said, play what you want, express yourself the way you want. And I just found an instrument I absolutely love. I think it's an amazing girl instrument. Thank you very much. And there are some amazing women saxophone players now. There's Candy Dolfer, who's been out there forever. She
Oh,
had a
I've
hit
heard. I
with
sure I know that name. Yeah.
yep, with a Dave Stewart song, and we've been friends forever. She lives over in Amsterdam. And there's a few here that, in the traditional jazz world, in the contemporary jazz world, and, we're slowly but surely taking over.
What attracted you to the sax? Why wasn't it a clarinet? Why wasn't it a flute or something, I don't know, girly? I mean, why the
Right.
sax?
Well, I grew up kind of in an odd way. I grew up on the road with my dad's band. Like
Hmm.
from the time I was born, they just put me in the band truck. And my mother and father were part of this band called the Fabulous Entertainers, and they just toured. And so we didn't even have a house till I was probably four.
Wow.
We were just on the road all over the US. So my earliest memories were watching this soul band, which my dad was a part of. And he was so fun. He was the sax player and the B3 organist.
Oh
So he
yeah.
would go out and take these solos. He was that guy that would, shake and shimmy and walk the bar. And boy, when I got in school and got in fourth grade band, they put all these instruments out and I just looked at all of them. And I just remembered seeing dad on sax and he had so much fun. And it was such a cool thing. I wanted to have that much fun. And I got
Shaking
to
and
say,
shimmying, and yeah.
yeah, dad made a good decision with the saxophone, and I made a good decision following in his footsteps.
Now
I've never looked back.
you grew up on the road, but you did grow up in St. Petersburg, which to
I
me
did.
is
All bands break up, Bill. It happens. It's a part
so the fabulous
of
entertainers like bit the dust and
they bit the
settled.
dust
Okay.
when I was about four, and we moved back to St. Petersburg, where I was born,
Yeah.
and got a house and everything. And then my dad started putting together rock bands that would tour. So I went from soul music to rock and roll. My grandmother was an opera singer. She would come over and play, piano and sing arias. So I had a very, shall we say, odd incredibly varied musical experience
You know,
growing up.
one thing I gleaned from reading your bio, Mindy, and now I don't know a lot about opera, but I do know what a coloratura soprano is. And
Mm.
that's that high thing, that's stratospheric, a high,
Yeah.
beautiful, clear as a bell, high voice. That was your grandmother, yeah?
Yeah, amazing. So, she was in this whole different world than I had grown up in. And it was just fun to kind of have music around 24/7. No one thought about, oh, this is jazz or this is rock or, now we're so genre oriented. But at that point, when you're a kid, you're just soaking it all in. And so, I just soaked it all in. And I think my resume, can you say, has reflected that oddity of just grew up with everything.
I got a few I
So
want to
it's been
talk
fun.
about there, that oddity. You went to Northside Christian School here in St. Petersburg, where I read you were a drum major, and for 2 years, I guess. And what's a drum major? What is that exactly? I don't know.
Being the drum major means you are the ultimate band geek. So I was definitely a band geek. And I took any class that they would let me. I was in the choir, I was in symphonic band, I was in jazz band, everything. But I became the drum major, I think. Look, I like to lead things. Obviously, I became a band leader and have led my own band for so many years and made records. But I think even at that young age, I wanted to lead it. And so that's what I did for the last 2 years of high school.
Why do
But
they call it drum
basically,
major? Do you have like a snare drum around your neck? Why do they call it that?
no, because you are kind of the upper person that leads the marching band. So
Uh,
you've got the drum line, you've got, all the horns, you've got everything that's kind of under your control and you're conducting it.
are
So
you
I
telling
would
me that you actually marched like in the Festival of States parade here in St. Petersburg, that kind of
we
thing?
won the Festival of States parade.
Hey, wow.
And yes, I
Wow.
marched in it a bunch of times.
Man,
So
that's
it was super cool.
that is so cool. You won first chair alto in the Florida All-State Jazz Band. I guess
Yeah.
right out of high school or in high school. Was that a huge deal doing and making when that happened?
When you're a kid in a little high school, we had probably 52 people, I think, in my graduating class at Northside Christian.
Mhm.
It was a huge deal to get into the Florida All-State bands. Look, I didn't want to be in the symphonic band. I didn't want to be in the other stuff. I wanted to be in that jazz band. And I kind of psyched myself out at a certain point because I just realized that, oh, well, this is not my little school that
Mhm.
I'm first chair in my little school, but this is going to be guys and girls from all over the state. And so I kind of stopped practicing for the audition for a while and just thought, well, I'll never get this. It just seemed crazy. And my dad came in and talked to me and he said, hey, why'd you stop practicing? And I was like, I don't even have a chance at this. There's no way. And he goes, well, yeah, I guess you can just quit. And well, I didn't like that.
Oh,
So
right, right.
I,
Thanks,
I
Dad.
didn't want to be that. So I
That's
went in and auditioned
reverse
and
psychology, they call that.
yeah, he's smarter than the average bear.
Yeah.
So he got me and I auditioned and I won it. And it was just a great lesson. What a great lesson to learn early on that, something that seems so big to you at the time that could seem out of reach, if you really go for it, you have a chance at it. And I actually had a chance, even though I didn't believe in myself too much. So that was great. It was a great start to me making music apart from high school.
So you went to University of North Florida, which even I down here in St. Pete know has a pretty cool jazz program. I'd heard,
Yeah.
yeah, and then to Berkeley.
Yeah, I went to North Florida. They gave me a full scholarship, and it is an amazing jazz program there. I mean, those guys, they were so incredible. I was so green. I just knew I wanted to play. And, they taught me so much. What I realized there was that I wasn't just a traditional jazz player. And
Yeah.
that's really what they were schooling me for there. So I wanted to choose a school that was more in line with what I wanted to do, which I knew was, more pop and rock and just all kinds of stuff. So Berkeley seemed like a really good choice for me, and it was. My teacher at Berkeley was incredible Joe Viola. And he, every time I walked in his room, he said, "Have you started your own band yet? Have you started your own band yet? Because you need to do that. This is your time." And he goes, there's already a David Sanborn, there's already a John Coltrane. Mindy Abair has yet to be discovered, and you sound different than people. So go be you.
How
And
encouraging is that? Is this around the time that you met Dave Koz, or was that many years later?
that was a few years later
Yeah,
when I moved to Los Angeles.
in LA, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. You moved to LA, and one of the things I saw on your resume was that you're on Adam Sandler's record, "What's Your Name," which
Yeah.
is to me the funniest record he ever made. I'm very
It's
familiar
the
with it.
best, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Now, Marshalls is having a sale and all of that stuff, and so um, when you hit LA, was it like that's like big fish, small pond? Like, oh, I gotta find a job. What am I doing out here?
Yeah, I mean, small town girl moves to LA and,
Yeah.
I had a degree from an incredible music school, Berkeley, but at the end of the day, when you land in LA, everyone has their sax player, everyone has their band that plays at their club. There's no room for you.
Mm,
And trust me, they didn't need me. So I had to make room for me. So I started hiring people and I formed my own band there. I begged a couple guys who were in my band at Berkeley to move to LA,
mm,
and we had a blast. We played anywhere they'd let us. I mean, I played in Macy's department store. I
mm.
played on the steps of the Capitol building downtown to for the LA Marathon. I would play everywhere. I would roam around hotel lobbies and play. So it was really a fun time to just kind of be me and try and get out there. I really wanted to be an artist and to have my own records. But I think part of my journey was that I would end up playing for a lot of other people before I got the chance to be a solo artist. And that wasn't my plan, playing for Adam Sandler and Bobby Lyle and
Yeah.
Jonathan Butler and Backstreet Boys. But you know what? It was a really amazing thing for me because I got to kind of deepen who I was. I
That's
got
your
to
learning
know.
curve. Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. You delve into people's music and you learn who you are through it and what you have to say. So by the time I got to be a solo artist and make my own records, I feel like I was much stronger because of that.
Now you toured with the Backstreet Boys. You toured with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
The well, a couple of years with that in that band. And
Backstreet Boys was a couple years. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I read Mandy Moore, and the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
At some point, you did. Oh my goodness, you know all this. I'm just going over it from memory. But you did American Idol, and is that when you met Steven Tyler?
Yeah, actually, Don was called me to do American Idol and he was, they had like A-list producers, helping out the contestants. So he called me and he goes, I have this rock and roll sax, you know, solo that I need. We're doing the song Old Time Rock and Roll.
Yeah,
And I just thought, oh my gosh, that seems fun. He goes, there's 26 million people that watch every week. I mean, I think it'd be cool for you to
yeah,
get on this. And I said, sure, so I did it. And it was fun to meet Steven Tyler. It was fun to get out of my bubble.
yeah.
Part of the beauty of being a solo artist is you get to play your own music and hire the guys you want in your band and everything. But you are in your own bubble. And to go out and do American Idol and then tour with Aerosmith, you're definitely outside your bubble. And I just grew so much with that experience trying to, be a relevant part of these contestants' lives and music. And it was really a cool turning point for me as an artist to be involved in that.
Well, at some point, you start making your own records. At some point
Yes.
on this journey, was your
Yes.
family thrilled? Were they like, calling all their friends and saying, "Check out, she's got this CD. It's incredible."
Yeah, they loved it. They just thought, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool." They're my biggest fans still. They've been married almost 60 years now,
Wow.
and they're living out in Vegas. So, actually, we're playing there tomorrow night. I'm
Ah,
playing my hometown tonight, but tomorrow night I'm playing in Vegas. So my parents
Vegas,
are
baby.
bringing a
That's
bunch
great.
of people. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Um, What was pretty good for a girl.net? And does that still exist? That was something that I read about that I thought was pretty cool.
Well, I wrote a song. I did 4 records as Mindy Abair and the Bone Shakers.
Yes.
And that band was very blues rock and it was super fun. And we just had a blast.
Yeah, the live
That
album was
song,
very cool. Yeah. And that song,
yeah,
yeah.
that song, Pretty Good for a Girl, became a radio hit on blues. And we recorded it with Joe Bonamassa, who's,
Yes.
an amazing blues artist.
Yep.
He made my little, 4-minute tongue-in-cheek song, this, huge, almost 8-minute extravaganza. So it became this kind of calling card of mine that we would play it in every show. And we had t-shirts and, jewelry and all kinds of stuff. It's just fun to kind of be a mouthpiece for women and for empowerment. And I love that.
I heard what
And
you did there with the word mouthpiece, saxophone. And
yeah, see, you like that?
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can hang with us saxophone dorks anytime, catch on to these things. So yeah, at one point I built a website that was pretty good for a girl.net, and it would feature women who were just kind of breaking ground and breaking rules and, doing all this cool stuff. At a certain point, too much. It was too much time. So,
Oh,
my
sure.
husband and I started our wineandjazz.com business. And so I kind of had to leave it behind, but we still play that song every night. And I
What a
still
great
love the girl power.
yes, yes, ma'am. What a great segue into wineandjazz.com, which how cool. If I lived in California, I'd be hanging out with you guys. And you
Oh,
go
no,
all
I
over the
mean,
world,
the
you do
least
these
of what we
adventure
do.
trips.
Oh,
Tell us
yeah.
about wineandjazz.com. Tell us about what you do there.
Okay, so it's kind of multifaceted. It's pretty much a lifestyle company at this point. We started off making wine because my husband has been in the wine business his whole life. As I've been in music my whole life, he's been running all these cool wineries his whole life, like Mum Napa and Kendall Jackson, huge wineries.
Yeah.
So we decided put our passions together when we, got together, and we just thought we'd love to travel. He wants to create wine and share it with friends and people instead of corporations, and I wanted to play music with my friends, so we created wineandjazz.com. We create 8 wines a year. We My husband, he hires winemakers like I hire musicians. They make wine just for us. It's amazing. We make all the labels, do all the artwork. It's all music centric. And then I create a playlist based on the wine style. So you listen. Well, basically, our tagline is sip generously, listen loudly, and repeat often. So that was great for a while, but then we wanted to get out of Dodge. We wanted to travel.
Hmm.
So we created what we call wine and jazz adventures, and we take people on uh, curated adventures around the world. So we curate 6 days. You stay in a 5-star resort. I do a concert every night, usually at like a castle or a chateau or just someplace ridiculously amazing. My husband kind of opens the kimono of all these incredible wineries because he knows all the winemakers and all these wineries, and we eat in incredible restaurants. So it's 40 people or less. So it's very intimate. You get to know everyone. And we've been to Bordeaux, France, Tuscany in Italy. We're going to Piedmont, northern Italy this next year. We're about to do Provence. We actually have 2 rooms left for Provence if anyone's interested. And we're about to open another one in Sonoma. We've done Sonoma and Napa and Spain. So it's really fun. We get to see the world and kind of go on our dream vacation, and we get to know these beautiful people who come with us.
Wine, food,
So
and music.
very cool.
That's the stuff of life, man. So
Yeah.
it's www.wineandjazz.com.
Wineandjazz.com. That's
And
it.
jazz. Let's talk about the Christmas show you're doing tonight. You do a Christmas tour every year, don't you? And you've got some Christmas records out there. So
Oh, yeah.
what can people expect tonight? Let's put it that way.
Well, I just released a Christmas record last month, and it's my first solo Christmas record.
Oh,
Um, Very cool. I called it I Can't Wait for Christmas.
that's right.
Um,
Yeah, I did hear
I've
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've released Christmas albums in the past as Mindy Abair and the Bone Shakers, and then
Mhm.
with, a few different artists, Rick Braun and Peter White. But this one, it was just me, and it was super fun to just play the melodies that I love for holiday songs. So we're playing a lot of those songs in the set tonight. The people that are here with me are amazing. I have a singer, Lindsay Webster, who just has the voice of an angel. She's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
you're a great singer. She's a great
yeah,
singer, folks. Not just a
sorry.
sax. I said you're not just a great sax player, you're a great singer too.
Thank you.
I'm laying it on thick here.
Oh,
Just
you are. You're awesome. You're so hired. Um, and then Marcus Anderson, he's also a great sax player. He's a singer as well, flute player. And so the three of us have put together this show, and I created it as kind of a theater experience that we have a narrator, and we're working our way from We Can't Wait for Christmas, because that's the title of the tour and my album. And so we're working our way through what we have to do before we get to Christmas. And then at a certain point in the show, it becomes our Christmas show, Christmas Day. So it's kind of a nice journey that the music weaves through that evening. And I
that's
love
so
it. And the whole
creative, man.
band,
That's beautiful.
yeah, it's really fun. And the whole band are solo artists in their own right. So it's kind of an all-star band, and everyone gets a moment to shine, which is really cool.
Well, that's tonight at the Capitol Theater in Clearwater. I think we've done our due diligence here, and what a pleasure to see your smiling face and to speak with you. Have a great show tonight, and say hi to the Rents in Vegas, huh?
I will. Hey, thanks for spending time with me. I always love talking to you.
It's great seeing you again, Mindy. And I'm gonna stop the recording and chat with you for one more quick second. Hang on a sec.